You're good to go. Is he in? He's in. Hi, Dennis. Can you hear us?
Okay.
Let's get all those leftovers down there.
Dennis? Dennis, can you hear us?
Oh, no. It's off the system.
He's muted.
Oh, you say you lost your report?
He himself is muted. He's muted, yeah. There he is.
Okay, but
The payment.
I'd like to have a chance to represent you.
Let me help.
Hi, Dennis. Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Hear you. Thank you, Dennis. Okay, welcome everyone. I'm going to call this meeting of the Board of Directors, MLCC, to begin today at 1:32. Thank you all for coming today. It's lovely to look out there and see all your smiling faces. Thank you. As we begin, we'll first have the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And today, as we begin, we have all of the board members present, except for Brian, who is not here. Dennis is on Zoom. Okay, and so I am going to call for the approval of the board minutes. I'm making a motion to approve the MLCC Board of Director meeting minutes for May 25th, 2024.
A second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Motion to approve MLCC Special Board of Directors Executive Session Minutes, June 25th, 2024.
A second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, and then I also have a motion I'd like to make. The Board of Directors of Mission Ridge Country Club hereby authorizes Girlnuck and Gillian LLP as our attorney and agent to execute, record, and assess a lien and invoice the association for the recording and mailing costs on APN 661-072-021.
It is on the bottom.
It's on the bottom.
Where it says lien. The very end.
Okay, so moving along, we have the member comments. Do we have any member comment cards? I don't have any up here.
You want to read that one?
Yes, I will.
Yeah, I've got one too.
Okay.
We got one for weeds in the desert areas on 3, 4, and 5. 6, thought we hired a full-time help. Water off of #1 cart path over 3 months. When do we expect that to be completed? Just to answer a couple of these things, we do have PWLC on these holes 3, 4, 5, and 6, and I do have a call into them. They work here on Thursdays and Fridays. But 3, 4, and 5, I do agree with this homeowner that definitely needs to be looked at a bit harder. So I did call him this past week, just put more effort out there. The water leak on #1, Raphael, I know I've been on them, but it's gonna be a bigger project than they thought with all the water lines there, but they are gonna get it to flow out to that little drainage area. So I know that's on his docket, so that's coming up.
Okay. And then I have one I'm gonna read, and this came in from Courtney Moe. And it says, excuse me, I am against any variance for reason of the owner's lack of financial resources. It sets a terrible precedence for two reasons. We can all envision similar unfortunate circumstances where an owner cannot adhere to our CCNRs. If we allow this one, why won't we allow the next one? We like the way our neighborhoods look. Once this vinyl fence is installed, it will stand out. Then it will start to deteriorate. So how and when does the ACC then act to correct it? Perhaps a compromise of iron fencing facing the street and vinyl fencing the neighbors, assuming the ironclad forever arrangements from all the neighbors. We all feel a sense of obligation to a veteran who has given us so much. But let's fix it by having the club pay for it and adding a monthly charge to his dues over the next 2 to 3 years. Or let's do a GoFundMe campaign to help Sean raise the funds he needs. If you suggest that to the ACC, I will be the first to donate a $5,000 check. Thank you for considering this, Courtney Moe. Okay. And as saying that, that's a wonderful comment and letter from Courtney. And we will be discussing that, what he's talking about as far as a variance in a little bit later this in the meeting. So we're moving on. Is that the only comment that we have from you that you have?
That I received, yeah.
Okay, so general manager's report.
So I'm gonna start off with the project we have going on, Oakmont. Starting on Monday, they'll be here for sure on Monday. They were having troubles with some of our utility companies. This is an area where the drainage comes in from the streets out into the golf course that sort of gets backed up on both on Oakmont and Warwick. By the 16th tee behind 15 green. So the project is basically they're gonna level it out 1% grade. They're gonna tear out the front of the cement on off of Oakmont and redo that area. There's sort of a a drainage there, but it doesn't go anywhere. So anyways, they're gonna cut that all out, redo it, and then grade it down to, I'm gonna call it Boyers Lake, even though I haven't seen that one yet, but down all the way down, so it goes out into the golf course. So as well on 16 off of Warwick, they'll probably do that next. They're gonna take out the front edge of that cement area, then they're gonna grade it down past the cart path, so it feeds down into the golf course over there too as well. So that project starts on Monday. So we did send an email out the other day, sort of construction on number 15 or project we're doing. I think our second better with communication to understand what's going on out there, but that's what we got starting on Monday.
So the gates are locked.
I'm sorry?
The gates will be locked.
So when the gates are locked, we won't enter. So that's what we're saying. If it's open, like 16 will probably be open for the next week. Coming in from 6, okay. So, but anyways, if he leaves the chain locked, then they're working. Okay. So the month of May, financials. We were $3,528 budget for the month. Revenue was below budget by $4,420. Expenses better than budget by $7,948. Food and beverage for the month was better than budget by $1,520 in the month of May. $4,000 over budget in revenues. Golf shop was under budget by $5,095. On the reverse side, green fees were down about $4,000. D&A was over budget by $4,232. Golf maintenance was better than budget by $8,337. Clubhouse, better than budget by $2,260. Mission Lakes Inn was better than budget by $1,044. Pool and Rec was over budget by $305. And for the month of May, in the reserves, as you know, we had some big RFCA's that came through. Before that, we spent $207,000 out of reserves. And at the end of the month, we had $3,396,199 in our reserve. So I'm going to give you sort of the highlights for our food and beverage for the month. So starting July 4th, we have our July 4th flag golf tournament. That's open to all members of MLCC. And I believe we have 78 golfers signed up for that morning. That's a positive. Following that, from 12 to 4, we have our pig roast barbecue, the annual 4th of July barbecue up here. And then about 4 o'clock, depending on participation, we're hoping, we're getting some reservations. I know we had 3. But hoping to do a little golf cart parade at 4 o'clock. And we'll use the same route we used during Christmas, and we'll post that all over the place. One thing we're doing this year, hopefully that you got to see the new menus back there, but starting July 5th, we have a new summer menu. They'll have the bar menu and the new summer menu. Have a new night called Movie Night at the Pool and Barbecue, 6 to 9 p.m. on July 18th. We've got a movie screen that we've had here on campus. We got a projector and all that, so we're gonna play a movie on July 18th down by the pool.
Do we know what the movie is yet?
Well, we've been talking about the movie, and knowing that we're gonna have kids and everybody else, we're trying to figure out what the best way to go about it.
It's gotta be Jaws,
Got it.
Creature from the Black Lagoon.
right?
So anyways, we have our bingos coming July 11th and 25th. Thursday dinner specials, every Thursday night, we're having dinner specials. And then karaoke again, July 26th. Last night karaoke was hopping in here. So the idea is next month is I think we're gonna move it out to the dining room and then move the dining in here, because it was jam packed last night. That was good. And our last bingo was great, so that was good too. So sure I'm missing something here on the list, but yeah, I think we have the new menus back there. So if you'd like to see what our summer menu looks like, it's
Burger and Brew was good too.
yeah, that was a good night too. Yeah. Comments. I'm gonna go over our comment cards. Great job all year 2023 to 2024. We've seen better changes. Great service. Next comment, managers and staff so friendly. And we had a great meal and lovely dinner. Fix the slushy machine. The machine is back out there behind the bar. Very delicious IPA. Thanks for the help picking that out. Tree trunks in the shallow parts of the lake for the turtles to perch on. So I'll just make a little comment. I had Raphael save me 2, and I'll go out there and see if we can. I don't know. We'll see. But we did save 2 of them. Club entrance off of Indian and Mission Lakes Boulevard is very shabby, weeds and signage. Replace the 7-Eleven machine, I miss it. We need a lot of communication on a daily basis on things like ice machine, trees being cut down and not removed. We did get a comment card from room number 3. Our comment cards basically asking if the room was clean, was it well supplied? Yes, yes, yes. And they said they had an excellent breakfast that morning. Thank you for including the San Jacinto dining room and sandwich in the Greater Palm Springs Restaurant Week. I enjoyed the stuffed portobello mushroom entree. My only suggestion is to add a gluten-free dessert offering. I hope this experience brings in more and more customers to the club. I think after talking to Lou's and I don't know how many people know, we opened it up to that Greater Palm Springs Restaurant Week, but I think we ended up having like 35 guests that came off that ad. So
Nice.
that was good. It was positive. Next year, looking at it, maybe opening one more night during the week to see if we can't get a few more people in here, but I think it was a very positive thing.
And that the other night was I think based upon finding out that the most popular nights for the restaurant week are not the nights we're open. It's midweek nights. So.
Yeah, they did say try to
I had no idea.
Stay away from the weekends. Yeah. Okay. The food was excellent. The melted cheese chorizo, heavenly. Staff wonderful. Yeah, if you don't mind.
What was it? Oh, the price fix special was over and above value, and I did well on the comfortable stationary chairs.
Thank you, Miss Carr.
You're welcome.
Gee, I wonder who wrote that one.
I lost my manager's report in my computer, so there was a couple more comments, but There was one on, another one for the, restaurant week. And a couple others on the dining, but other than that, that's all our comments for the month.
I know one comment was, that I heard was, when we have a beverage cart out on the golf course, to please stock with non-alcoholic drinks.
Yes.
We've made that pretty clear.
And it's nice to have the beverage cart out on the golf course. I'd like to see it out there more often, because it really is nice to have it out there.
Yep. Can't hear you back here.
Put your microphone closer, Susan. Closer to you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Better.
Okay, there we go. Okay, thank you, Eric. We'll move on to our committee reports. First one, we have the ACC, Karen, you're the liaison.
First of all, I need to make a motion with oh, sorry. Hello. I'd like to make a motion to approve Nicholas Haker as a voting member for the Architectural Control Committee.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
And Kent Carlson, who is our chair, is going to give our report.
Right, so the only thing I got is, that we brought up at the agenda meeting this week, regarding the permit application to save a $25 fee for the application. And, I'm working on a meeting with our HOA app for our committee members, so we can train everybody and also see what else we can do with it besides reporting, but also gaining information, taking notes on application that we take in, so we have everything digital, and hopefully down the road we can have it on our website so people can apply online. Well, one more thing that I like the board to work on next few weeks or even quicker is 9860 Hoyle Lake encroachment. So the owner of that property can start building his house. And that's all I got.
You.
Trish.
Trish?
You can't hear. I need to stand here.
I couldn't hear. I think it was on.
That's okay, thank you.
Will be.
Okay, we need to turn that mic on. Okay, thank you, Trish.
I think it's just too far away.
Oh, he's
Stand.
We're coming from.
Talking to.
Yeah, it's working.
Is it? You can hear?
It's these speakers, not.
Okay, I was say, I can't hear. All right, I turn it back on.
Okay, thank you. The next one is the condos.
Okay, that'll be me. So, we had our, monthly meeting via Zoom this week, and this meeting we had 9 via Zoom in addition to the 5 management and board, which is really encouraging to us to have those people, take the time to attend. There was a hole in the back fence, was like a human-sized hole that you could squeeze through, so that has been repaired. We're expecting a new contractor to fit out our laundry room with new energy saving washers and dryers in middle to late July. The work for the major sewer incident that happened down by building 4 has all finally been completed. And now we're getting to work looking at some other things that remain to be done with regards to sewerage down there. Last week I went to Del Webb, and that's fancy out there, let me tell you. So I went to ACAI Coachella Valley breakfast meeting, and it was about AB 1572 about saving water and non-functional turf and that sort of thing. And I learned a lot about that, and also that there are quite a few grants and programs available, along with rebates that we down in the condo can apply to, like we've been doing up here at the club, to remove areas that are lawn that don't need to be lawn and droughtscape it. So that was really good, because down there water is probably our biggest monthly expense. because we do have quite a bit of grass down there. So we're gonna do that. I'm gonna meet with our, the leader, the landscapers down there, and we'll talk about all that sort of things. And some, plans to make some more areas, require less water. Let me see, the substation, so, we've been talking about that for quite a while. We're just waiting for our fearless leader, Mike Jennings, to get back. The only other really major thing that we need to do in there is we need to change out the AC unit, so we're probably gonna do a twofer and change the AC unit out in there, and then, put one in the laundry room. And, of course, you know, I'll just as an, so I've gone down Indian and I do see the police cars and they're still down at the Harisco restaurant, so we're getting closer to have them parking up here on our property, which will be good. And that's about it for the condos.
Karen, did you get the problem with the boys that were jumping over the fence?
Oh, you know what, we've instructed the homeowner, if you see something like that, it's like call 911. Eric has given me the number for patrol, and I think we need to set patrol up with a fob.
Okay.
Mike will be back, once Mike Jennings gets back, we'll get that all situated, but yeah, it's like, I won't say what my suggestions were to the fence, but, anyway, so we're working on it.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Okay.
Where are they jumping over the fence?
They're just jumping over the gate.
At the condos.
At the condo, not up here, at the condos, and apparently they're not, it's a group of like teenage to young adult men. And the people observing them do not believe that they live in or on our property or in the houses. It's believed that they're coming in not from our community at all, they're coming in from somewhere else.
Mountain View.
No, no. Cause you know what, I count Mountain View as us as well, like our little section over here, it's like, we're all Mission Lakes. But we do not believe that they're from anybody within our community, they're coming from outside. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Karen. Finance and credit, Steve?
I'd like to make a motion to approve checks over $1,000 from operations and reserve accounts for May 2024.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Make a motion to approve the finance and credit reports for May 2024.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
We have three RFCAs. There's one RFCA that we tabled at the committee about replacing the batteries in the golf carts, and we have a trial going on that at a lower amp hour rating, and we'll get that installed and we'll flog them out really good to see if the lower amp hour rating will work fine for our purposes with the hill and whatnot. So thinking before we commit to a big expense like that, let's have one cart with a trial to see if it works. The first RFCA, FCC approved and passed on to us, is RFCA 861805 in the amount of $32,500 to paint the clubhouse and in stucco trim, wood fascia repairs from D&D Painting.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion on that?
Well, this just point out that this was in the reserve study budget already to paint this year. And I think we budgeted something like 48,000 or so, something 42. So the bid came in underneath that.
So just to give a little history on it, last time according to the reserve study, we painted the stucco back in 2007 and the trim in 2006.
Wow, that's a waste.
Wow.
So we'll work with the house committee because just make sure we're still on I mean, I don't think we're changing colors, but we've done a little brown inside here. Do we want to do brown outside? So we'll be talking to the house committee.
Can we do green?
Arizona beige.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, the second motion, second is RFCA 864005. I'd like to make a motion to approve this in the amount of $7,717.85 for a Manitowoc ice water dispenser for the cart barn. And the vendor is Restaurants and More.
I'll second.
Is there any board discussion?
The committee did bring up a couple of things about this. One is obviously, we took too long to replace this one. But, you know, there's all kinds of sort of the classic stories, you know, that it's an easy fix, but the part's not available. Then the part does come in and it doesn't quite fix it. And, you know, it was due to be replaced anyway. And one of the things that at the meeting that Mr. Aldridge brought up was that in the past, we've made the decision to take the one out of the golf course maintenance if we needed a temporary backup, because they could then use the one in the bathroom on 16 for just a short time. So, you know, in a month and a half or whatever it takes us to get a new one in. Yeah, not to leave, you know, us short on the golf course, especially in summer. It's certainly a well-used thing, so. That was just some additional comments that we talked about at the FCC.
And so that's what we are doing. We are gonna fix that old one and keep it in storage.
Yeah, I think that's the plan, right? If it can be, we'll see if it can be fixed so that we have a backup. We have 5 units that are currently being used between the 3 on the golf course, the 1 in the pool, and the 1 in the maintenance deal. So, you know, it would be nice to have one that's, we've always sort of taken one old one and used it for parts, but it's nice to have one that we can actually put into service temporarily. So,
Okay.
Got a question.
yeah,
Do
John.
the water dispensers and ice dispensers, don't they take filters?
You know, our maintenance gentleman now, Brian, has been cleaning those like once every other month. So I believe they do, but I think they're cleanable filters, so not one we have to pay for.
Because I
Yeah.
wasn't sure about that.
Yeah,
I thought maybe
no.
you had to replace the filter every 2
Yeah,
years.
if he is, he's doing all the maintenance on them now. So,
Well, I would find out about that because if you're doing maintenance on one and not replacing them with something else.
yeah, no, so, you know, this one is interesting, the one at the car park, because we had it built into the wall kind of thing.
Right.
So they had to take it all the way out, which that's not a big deal. And they thought they had the parts, ordered them, took a while to get the parts. Well, those parts didn't work, so we gotta order these parts. But during that time, you know, like I said, not knowing about the golf course maintenance one that they've done in the past. They've gone and stole the one from golf course maintenance and brought it up for these situations, and I'll know that the next time, so.
Okay, so there's a motion and it's been second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, the last RFCA, I'd like to make a motion to approve RFCA 861005 in the amount of $7,398 from Fitness Outlet for 2 recumbent bikes for the gym.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion?
Yeah, why are we getting 2 new bikes?
The old one's probably.
Because.
Did they? Okay, I never go there, so.
So a little history on this. So basically, one is needing a repairs of $1,000. They were in reserves last year,
Okay,
but they were working, so we kept them going. So it was about $1,000 to repair, you know, for 2 at $7,396. You know, since it was due, they're 11 years old.
okay.
So just, you know, this one's the 2.0 and moving up. So same brand, same everything.
All right, cool.
And from what we understand, they're very popular. They're used a lot, so. Okay, is there any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
So just a couple quick comments about finance committee right now. We'll start in July at the management level with Eric and the managers starting the budget process again. It's you don't get many months off here. It's budget time again. And then the finance committee, probably at the end of August, will begin looking at things. we got, the water prices are going up again from 195 to 215 an acre foot, so about a 10.25% increase in our water replenishment. So just, we have our own wells, but now in California, you have to pay for the water you take out of your own well. Yeah, so it's great. We have to pump it out of the ground with electricity and the whole bit. We don't have pipes delivering it to us. You know, we still have to pay as much for it. So I think that's about it. The budget's looking really good in terms of, we're just, you know, all the numbers are looking really solid. We had some unexpected costs. And if not for those unexpected costs, we would be pretty far ahead, actually. Still, inflation, you know, you see the cost of living increase and stuff like that. You see official inflation numbers. Remember that those don't include things like food and energy, you know. So our costs as a club, and especially say the golf course maintenance costs and stuff, are rather extraordinary, and they're a lot more than whatever 5%, 6% number that you see out there in the papers. So I anticipate that we won't be able to hold the line on dues. I'm anticipating that dues will go up, but I don't think it's going to be a dramatic number. It's going to be too harsh.
Thank you, Steve. Okay, our next golf is golf committee.
Okay, so, Miss Pat Hobbs is out of town, so she sent me her report. And I'm just gonna read it how she wrote it, so. And, so anyway, Pat Hobbs and Sean Mahaffey are the co-chairs for the golf committee. I was expecting Sean to be here today, but I don't see him, so. Anyhow, Pat Hobbs writes, we have had a great start to our summer season. Folds of Honor and 29 PSP tournaments both saw great participation by MLCC members. These two tournaments were to honor and support both active military members and their families and veterans. Winners of the Folds of Honor tournament, Flight 1 was Debbie Schrader and Steve Rojadas. Flight 2 was Chester Hobbs and Patricia Hobbs. Flight 3 was Richard Zambrano and Susan Zambrano. Winners of the 29 PSP tournament, men's gold flight is Mr. Danny Horvat. Men's green flight was Mr. Ken Lemke. Women's green orange flight was Ms. Kesti Meerberg. And the women's orange flight, Tony Miller. The military flight was Scott Wood. The annual MLCC flag tournament will be on July 4th. And on July 13th, the WGA will host a 3-person scramble. So please, everybody sign up for that. It should be a great time. So that is that report. And now I have a motion to approve moving the Elks tournament from April 26th, 2025 to April 19th, 2025 on the golf calendar.
A second. Is there any discussion? I know, I think that's a great idea.
Do you want the reason why?
It's
Why I proposed this? So last year, 5 of the 7 board members. 5 of the 7 board members participated in this tournament. And unfortunately, we had a board meeting, so we didn't get to continue with enjoying the day with the Marines that were invited here. I talked to Juliana Dawson, who is very important at the Elks. And she said, as long as we have the very same thing that we're gonna have on the 25th, on the 29th, they are very happy to move the date.
And we're happy they're moving the date.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, is there any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, next we have the Greens Committee. Steve?
Yeah, Jack Peterson's away right now. In the summertime, we typically take June off, and we did this year. And we actually, I guess we had the end of May. We had the meeting at the end of May. So we'll take July off. Projects are ongoing. Eric already talked about the grading project down on the end of 15 and 16. Finally get rid of that collecting Lake Oakmont, we called it. And Lake Oakmont, Lake Warwick, And I kept waiting for vector control to show up and say, hey, you gotta fix this, you have 48 hours, you know? So we'll get that done. I am a little bit concerned about what July the course is gonna start looking like, because we did spray sapphire, which to kill off the ryegrass, which sometimes we carry all the way in through July. The problem with carrying ryegrass through July is that it competes, it doesn't allow the Bermuda to grow. So keeping ryegrass that late into the summer basically eliminates being able to have a healthy Bermuda base. And, you know, that's a problem for us long-term, especially with water costs and stuff, because you spend a lot more water on ryegrass than you do Bermuda grass. So we need to have a better base of Bermuda for a longer period of time through the year. So, I just don't want members to be picking on Raphael. Raphael knows what he's doing out there, but the course is going to have some brown spots, because the brown spots represent areas where the Bermuda grass is completely deteriorated. And so that, if you remember a few months ago, we bought a dimple seeder that'll allow us to do localized overseeding. You can overseed with Bermuda grass. So once you get these brown spots, you could do some quick touch-up work and try to get some Bermuda grass growing in those areas. And so you anticipate like roping off an area, roping off a landing area, roping off some of those dead spots, and keeping play going, not having to shut down a whole hole for weeks. But trying to cover those dead spots. That's about it.
And you also have a motion?
Oh. Yes, we like to, I could make a motion to approve Chester Hobbs as an alternate voting member for the Greens Committee.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved.
I'd like to know something more about that machine you purchased for seeding.
Yes,
If you bought it just to do spot seeding, or are you doing it to cover all the areas where the unit is missing?
well, we had a hand pushing type one for really small spots. And it just never got used because it was too hard to use and it was too small an area. This tows behind a tractor, and so we say spot, but that spot could be an entire fairway.
Right.
It's pretty effective in terms of being able to cover. And it's faster because it puts the seed, if you've ever seen Bermuda grass seed is incredibly fine. It's like talcum powder almost coming down. It's amazing how fine it is. Typically you mix it with rice husk or something. But the advantage of this machine is it actually puts it, a half inch underground. So the pigeons don't eat it out, and it doesn't need as much water, and it's not as fragile, and it tends to germinate faster. So it's kind of a win-win-win. And all the courses that have been having to go through what we're going through have been using this machine. It's been pretty effective.
I am not
Thank you,
an
Steve.
expert in grass and nothing like that, but I've read a lot about when you plant Bermuda seed and stuff like that. And it's normally, from what I've read, the hybrid Bermuda planted normally towards the end of June, and you have to do it before the temperature of when the temperature of the ground is a certain temperature in order for the seed to grow.
Yeah, the ground has to be above 72 degrees,
Right.
like a few inches down. And you can, out here, you can start that in about mid-May would be the absolute optimal. But it's, we weren't anywhere close to being ready for that.
Okay,
That's a
thank you,
shame.
Steve.
I mean, we just lost another year.
Our next committee is the House Committee. Karen, thank you.
Judy's going to give our report. Judy
Can't
Grant.
hear you.
Oh,
Microphone.
Judy Grant is going to be giving our report. Sorry, that's my outside voice inside.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Turn it off.
Now, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Now, can you hear me?
you're allowed to clear.
Yell loud.
Talk like you're
Hello?
with me.
I'm sorry.
Just, why don't you sit behind me a second?
I didn't think it was working either.
No.
Maybe it's on new battery.
Oh, it's still on the ground a couple times.
Can you hear me now?
No,
Yeah.
no, I don't think.
Stand here. Just.
You want me to get you, you can have my chair.
No, I don't sit down.
Sure.
Okay, the House Committee met on Wednesday, June the fifth, and the club chairs with wheels that were located in the San Gregorio room will be moved to the bar area as requested by the membership on comment cards. They've been sitting in there and not used the bar, and people want them back in the bar, so they're being put back there. The artwork for the inn has been hung. The new furniture has been received, and most of the furniture has been installed in the inn rooms. The old furniture has been advertised for sale to the membership, and I believe it was just done this last weekend. And the inn rooms have all been painted. Popcorn ceilings removed, ceiling lights, light fixtures, and with USB ports, carpet bedding, and the bedding was completed. Curtains and decorative bed scarves and pillows will be done in the next few weeks. Photos for the dining room will be of the golf course and restaurant in the canvas style. Artwork for the entryway is still in discussion. The board of directors portrait wall and display case have been agreed upon and will be in a modern looking acrylic style. The bar ceiling light that was ordered and installed was not approved by the committee or anybody else around here. And will be removed, and further lights will be for the bar will be looked into. The MLC logo merchandise will be discussed for the pro shop at a later date, as these items will be marketed there. The exterior painting of the clubhouse is planned and the perimeter wall is out for bid, and that was just approved a little bit ago. The 4th of July barbecue and tournament is planned. And removal of the wall separating the bar and the entry was discussed. The facilities manager will be drawing up a diagram to discuss it at our next meeting. And our next meeting will be this coming Wednesday.
Judy, I think it'd be very important, it's just my opinion, that when you get finished with the hotel rooms and all that, we have an open house for a 2-day open house for everybody in the community to go see what has been improved and how it looks, so they can, and find out what the prices are and stuff like that, and also done, so everybody has a chance to have the relatives come in and see how great, how much it's improved and stuff like that.
I'll bring that up at the meeting, but it has to be figured out when we've got an open availability ahead of time, and that's.
Well, yeah, you always have a room open one way or the other. So
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, I'll bring that up at our next meeting, like I said, it's just coming Wednesday.
that's just a thought.
They are looking a lot better, especially with like the popcorn and the lighter, and they're, we got a little bit more color, and the pictures that we're putting in there are just gorgeous. I mean,
We've had friends staying, in May, we had friends staying just a week ago, family, and the improvement was really, really nice.
noticeable.
Yeah, but it was pre-furniture looking for, but post pictures. So the pictures were up, but the furniture hadn't
Oh,
changed.
perfect, yeah.
But the bedding and the paint and the clean ceilings, still could use a little more lighting and, a few
Yeah.
touches, but it's really looking so much better than I stayed there 2.5 years ago.
Yes.
Great, thank you,
Yeah.
Judy. Thank you, Judy.
Thank you.
Okay, our next committee is the Member Communications Committee. Sue?
Sandra Rodriguez, our chair, will be giving the report.
Thank you, Sue.
Generally, I don't need one, but let's try it. At our June 2024 committee meeting, we reviewed items that have been on our agenda for quite a while. Sometimes we're waiting for information, sometimes we find new aspects of an item to discuss, and sometimes we review what has been accomplished. So our theme today is in a continuing effort. In a continuing effort to identify those owners who rent their property and the people who are their tenants, it was decided to have a direct mail outreach using the U.S. Postal System's EDDM tool. That stands for Every Door Direct Mail, which delivers to addresses by postal route. We also know that this process can be used to send direct mail to other nearby communities to encourage people to come to the Sandwich Cafe, the San Jacinto Dining Room, and Bar and Lounge. Member relations staff is working on a mail piece. It's available through the post office. It's fairly inexpensive. In a continuing effort to welcome new members to MLCC, it was decided to have a welcome new members table at the 2024-25 season opener on November 1st, 2024. We will reach out in advance to new members since the last season began. Committees and clubs are welcome to staff the table and be part of that meet and greet. So any new members since last year. In a continuing effort to have as much information as possible about MLCC easily accessible to members, the member handbook has been added to the club documents on our website. If you go to the governing documents, you'll see member handbook, and it will be maintained. New members will still receive the actual handbook. Remember, it has the red and the green, I need help, I'm fine in an emergency sort of thing in it, as well as other pieces of information. So they'll get that when they come to the member relations office to register and to receive their membership cards. Emails will also be sent as the handbook is updated. All handbooks grow and change over time. In a continuing effort to blend the condo and single-family homeowners into a cohesive unit, the brand new Mission Lakes condominium newsletter and the MLCC messenger will each have a link to the other. In the new newsletter that is coming out probably on Monday, it's just about complete going through final review. You will see the page for the condos, and there will be a link on that page that will take you to the newsletter. Helen Jones has put together a 14-page newsletter on her own, I think, for the most part. It is phenomenal. You will find out a lot about how things are going there. Which pool is the one that's being impacted, that sort of thing. It's an effort to better blend all of us together into one community. In a continuing effort to continue to improve communications throughout our community, we are always looking for new members to contribute to that continuing effort. Join the committee or simply come to our meetings. You don't have to be a member to participate. Couple of quick announcements. Next week is a holiday on Thursday, so trash pickup is Friday. Madison and Cynthia will be putting out a flyer to remind everybody. And there's also quite a bit of change coming to the Mission Lakes Boulevard and Little Morongo. You should have received a flyer at your front door or in your mailbox about the road closures that are coming up I think it's starting July 8th. So there's going to be some resurfacing of streets, if I'm not mistaken, on Mission Lakes and on Little Morongo. You should have received a flyer and we will announce it. Thank you.
First time in 35 years.
Hey,
They've never done those streets ever.
well, we're special.
Yeah.
So Eric, are we gonna be able to mark off the pellets at the helipad in the parking lot so we can get in and out?
Yeah.
Thank you, Sandra. You're welcome. Okay, our next committee is the COPS committee.
And I'll just say a few words, because I talked to Larry. Larry says there's just not enough volunteers right now. He's just having a couple guys, but he's doing it as when he can. I don't think he's done it for a while now, but he's hoping to get it. He's not giving up. He's just hopes to get more volunteers and get it going come season time again.
I actually saw him out yesterday.
Good.
Oh, good. Okay,
Yeah.
out in the car?
Yeah.
Oh, right, good.
I got a question for you. Is the problem with getting people to work on comps, is it because of the distance, we have to drive back and forth and all this other stuff and all other things? Is that the main problem?
It's sort of one of the bigger issues, yes.
So why don't we do, like, the people that we borrow the vehicle from, why don't we get an assessment, which would probably be $25 a person for every member in the country club, and buy our own vehicle and put a security on that, and then that we have our own vehicle, we don't have to drive back and forth to pick one up or nothing like that. You're not talking that much money for it, not a brand new one, but a one-off of a lease. It has low mileage, we don't, and we can use it for 4 or 5 or 6 years, no problem whatsoever. I'm just a thought.
Yep.
Well, thank you very much for that.
And it works very well. And it's an assessment of $25 a person, it's not a big deal. That's just my opinion.
Thank you. We appreciate that suggestion. Okay, so we now have the Pool and Recreation Committee report. Eddie?
Thank you. Probably won't need this, but have it anyway. So just a reminder, 4th of July, we have the cart parade. And Eric was talking about that, where he said we have maybe 3 people signed up. But historically, we end up with 8, 10, or 12 carts that are decorated. So I encourage you, put some streamers on your cart. Come on out. Registration is at 3:30. We'll help with that. 4 o'clock, the parade. Make a circle and come in and have a beer and join the festivities. So it's a fun event. Get your cart decorated, Peg. Our part. Okay, on to a more popular subject, the ADA area outside of the restroom for rehabilitation, which has looked horrible for the last 3 to 4 or 5 years. And we have a breakthrough here. We were going to go to our designer that designed the original area out there. But it was gonna cost us another $6,500 to do that. So a more prudent solution is to use the existing design we have and just update it, because we do have some updated numbers that we can use that will allow us to talk to our landscape contractor, negotiate with that guy, bypass a lot of middle people, and get this job done quickly and make that area look nice again without expenditure of a whole lot of money. A whole lot of money, meaning I don't know exactly what that is. We'll get to that. Lastly, well, not lastly, but we're adding a pool class here on Wednesday evenings, 6 o'clock. For those of you that would like to come out during the summer for a little school pool splash. Initially, it was last year on Thursdays, but then that impacted with our dining area up here. So we changed the class to Wednesday night to allow those people to come up for Thursday night festivities here at the club. And that's gonna last, that's one class is gonna last through September. So it's a couple of months of activities. Yes, Hank?
Same time, 6 o'clock.
Yeah, same time, 6 o'clock. Come on, you were a major participant in that last year. Yeah, you were. Okay, I think that's it.
Okay, you're
Right.
gonna get line dancing.
Line dancing is not out, but our problem is finding an instructor. We haven't been able to do that. You find us an instructor, because I went out and asked, search down the valley. Can't get one that's willing to come up here for a couple hours a week. Therein lies the rub. Okay, thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you, Eddie. And then we have future planning, but Brian is not here today, and I don't see Phil or anyone that is ready to give that report. So that will be a non-report today. So I want to say thank you to all the committees. Thank you all. You all work very hard, and we appreciate all the time and effort that you put in. Thank you to the chair people and all of your volunteers. We really appreciate you guys. Okay, so moving on, we are going to go to old business. And first on old business is the motion to approve the paint palette.
Are you making a motion?
Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the paint palettes.
Okay, do I get?
I mean, I'll make the motion to approve the paint palettes.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Is there any board discussion on this? All those in favor?
It's about time.
Excuse me?
He said it's about time.
Oh. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we have a new paint palette.
Hey, so I just want to say something on that. I would like to thank Kent Carlson over there. Not Carlson. Is that right? Okay.
Yes.
Kent. So I put in so I'm getting my house painted, right? And I put in my application and all that stuff on like a Saturday, and by Monday it was approved.
Oh,
So
very good.
I just want to thank you for the timeliness in that. Great job.
And is it green?
It is green.
You know,
all the variants.
we picked one of the color combinations that they took off in the last revision.
Is that right?
Come on, X-Brown.
I was just, look, I'm just saying, I was impressed at how quickly it was, the paperwork went through.
Well,
So,
good, thank you. And thank you, Kent, for getting that paperwork through fast. Okay, and then the next thing on the old business is the food minimum. And before we get into a big discussion about this, I just want to let everybody know that the board is still in the middle of discussing this and trying to come to some sort of a decision on what we want to do with that board policy. We're still discussing this until we get a lot more information and we can make a better choice to decide what we want to do. It very well could, it will be, there's a good chance that there will be a financial difference. And so we're looking into that as far as what that might do to the budget for next year. So it's still in a process of us discussing what we're going to do about the food minimum.
Did the topic come up in regards to raising or lowering?
Yeah.
What prompted?
No, we had a member request in a letter, an appearance at the board meeting last time. It had nothing to do with raising or lowering it, yet allowing you to pass it off to somebody else when you're not here. So they're currently away for a year on a work assignment. And they're like, you know, we would like to be able to give it to our renters, say. And
In the past, did they let you get gift certificates that you could hand out to whoever?
we had a system in the past, where you could sign a form and sign your life away. And allow somebody to charge on your account, not charge, but use it and have it applied, as a credit. towards-
During COVID.
That was during
That was
COVID.
during COVID.
And my understanding is we ended up with a great deal of chargebacks and stuff. It was kind of a nightmare for the bookkeeping side of the operation here. And a couple $1,000s were given back to members because of charges that were disputed. Charges, they charged alcohol, they exceeded the amount. It was just an endless series. And while you could look at the document and say, well, that's their problem, not ours. For whatever reason, I don't know the details, we gave thousands of dollars back. And so we feel, you know, it's kind of burned by the experiment that we had. And I'm not real keen to revisit that, so.
And so the board is still in the process of deciding that.
And remember, we also proposed, because we're not selling the renter's cards, we proposed as a perk of slightly lowering the price possibly of the renter's card and also giving the perk of allowing your renter not to charge, but that to have a card where they could put when they pay with a credit card, and that would be credited against the food minimum. That would be something to encourage the sales of that thing, so we sell more than like 11 of them or something.
But that did not go over well with
And
the
that
membership.
was met with a lot of, we're subsidizing renters, our landlords, and I don't think it was well communicated. So, I mean, we might try to put some feelers out on that one, but what we saw was the membership, at least the core, you know, which was very much against that.
How do you become part of the core?
The people who show up to meetings. And the people who give input, you know, I mean, we may have 1,069 members, and I certainly want to represent every one of them. But if you don't participate and you don't let yourself be known, well, you sort of lose a little bit of that representation.
And we appreciate it. You know, we appreciate hearing from the membership on these subjects. Okay, so if there is any other new business, old business? Yes?
I want to refer back to karaoke night. Did you say that it is moving into the dining room?
I made that suggestion just because it was so packed in here.
Okay, they had to bring in tables and chairs.
Yeah, well, you know, how many can you really hold in this room and really, I mean, what I'm saying is there was people in the waiting room out there waiting, you know, to come in, they couldn't, so that being a bigger area, if we have that group again, it would be nicer out.
We tried to do that before.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great karaoke night. It was
Oh, my
packed.
God.
Yeah,
And the.
Best singing ever.
it was amazing.
It was the best.
Yeah, it was.
True.
It was
It was very good.
I just want to make a comment. I didn't come up for it,
Come in and say-
but I have to say, I was so impressed. I was out in the lobby. I had something in that side. I was out in the lobby and you couldn't hear the noise from in here, and I just think that's pretty impressive. That means that we can do concurrent functions that make noise. I just think that's a good thing.
Okay, so if there is no more old business, we'll move on to new business. And as far as this new business, we are not going to move ahead with an emotion to approve the variance of the 7.5 feet of vinyl fencing. Because our legal team has asked us to table this until they have a chance to talk with us about how to make the decision on this. So for now, this will be tabled until further notice when we get together with our legal team. We certainly will not let this sit until the next meeting. Once we have been a discussion with our team, we will be calling an open board meeting because we'd like to get this wrapped up pretty quickly.
What's the timeline for meeting with the legal counsel?
As soon as we can get them on the board. I mean, it could be next, we're hoping for next week, but we'll have to see.
Originally, it's been probably 2 months, 3 months, whatever. Originally, I talked to the lady when I was the ACC chair. And she, and told her she had to take it down, and she understood it 100%. She also agreed to put an iron fence in. She said she didn't know. She just had somebody put it in. She didn't ask anybody or nothing like that. So she just had it put in, put the vinyl fence in. And she said she would do it within the next couple of weeks and take it down and put an iron fence in. And but from that point on, after I left, nobody followed up, nobody, whatever happened, I have no idea. If you look at the paperwork, she was written up. And I thought about quite a while ago, so that's where it stands. And
This-
why this vinyl fence has come up, I have no
This is
idea.
a total different scenario on this one.
Yeah.
But now that Kent heard that and I heard that, I'll look into that one, but this is a whole different person.
It's a different
Yeah,
address.
different
Different
home.
This is, this is.
It is on Oak Pop, but it's a whole different person.
Oh, it is.
Yeah,
Oh.
okay.
But
Thank you.
but that may answer a little bit about what we were talking about this
Yeah.
morning.
Can I ask you, I was told by somebody that on the agenda was gonna be the beer and wine tasting adoption event. To be put on the agenda to be approved.
You're adopting.
What is that?
I
What?
think Aaron knows that.
No, it's gonna be,
Beer and wine tasting adoption event of animals. For animals.
Oh.
That was supposed to be put on the
so I
agenda.
didn't get it on the, I think that's in October,
So
November.
they're looking to have it then.
Yeah, so I didn't get it until late. I didn't get it on the agenda. So we'll bring that up next month.
Okay. well,
Yeah, so basically it's a good group of members here wanting to do like an adoption pet day out on the patio outside, and it'll be a wine tasting event. And they'll display a couple animals just to say, here's what we do. So, but I'll bring that to the board next month.
Okay,
Sounds good.
that's just, yeah, okay.
Can I ask one question? Something that I saw today and some other people witnessed it, and I know we have this go on a lot. A big minivan pulled up that probably had about 8 people, wasn't a minivan, it's a Mercedes van, had about 8 people in it, brought out huge cooler, I mean, big. There are 2 people to carry it, filled it completely full of ice out of our bin. And I happened to say to him, "Oh, are you playing golf?" Knowing that they weren't. He said, "No, we don't play golf." And I was getting ready to say, "I've not met you before. What street are you on?" You know, just to try to fill me. And somebody walked in and said, "I don't think you're supposed to be doing that." And this person said, "Oh, I have permission." So I know that we see a lot of people from the surrounding areas coming and using our ice, which isn't.
Talk louder. We can't hear you. Talk louder.
It's the ice downstairs, and our bin today was lower than I've normally seen it, and it may be because we're putting more ice into the other machine, I don't know. But we do have that issue. It's not a big deal, but they are stealing ice from our members. Our members, when they have a party, can come up and fill an ice chest. But we shouldn't be supplying ice to everybody around us, which I do see quite a bit. So is there any way that maybe someone can think about that and do something with our ice machine where you either have to have a code or a slide or something that people just, and because people know about it.
Yeah, people,
Okay.
Pat was just
I'll
saying,
bring that.
this last weekend, we had relatives staying in the motel and they were bringing ice chests at night and just filling them up.
And Tuesday morning, they were doing it too.
Yeah, and they're not, they were not, people who live here, I don't think, they were just.
Okay.
It happens all the time. It's been a problem
all the
time.
It's been a problem for a long time, but it seems to be, I seem to see, and they're getting bigger. I'm just putting it that way. You know, they're having
Okay.
parties and whatever, they're going camping or whatever.
People
I saw a guy with a boat.
Cars to help themselves, that's what they do.
Yeah, I saw a guy
They
with a
know.
boat and a camper and he had two huge ice chests. Last summer pull up and fill it, and I don't think they were from here, so.
Who would bring a boat into our parking lot? I can't imagine.
Idiot.
Thanks,
You
Steve.
have idiots.
Okay, well, thank you, Peggy, and we'll.
I
Take a
have
look
it
and
down
see
here as
what we
ice
can do.
machine bandits.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, great. We'll see what we can do. Can I help? Okay,
Yeah, I just had one other comment I wanted to add as far as meeting with the legal team. Something just dawned on me that if for some reason this whole issue took on a very public life of its own and the media thing. I've seen situations where it becomes national news about veteran not getting this or that. I'm not saying base your decision on it, but there might be some unintended consequences and the publicity might not look well for our homeowners, for our.
we have a concern about that. That's why we're talking to the legal team.
Yeah, okay, good.
And I just want to put something out there, because my concern is, I don't want to turn it down for this particular individual. But then I feel a responsibility to 1,068 other people who are going, well, wait a minute, what about me? I have, circumstances. So anyway. I would very much like to hear comments from the community, on a comment card or on the website comment card. I'd very much like to hear what the community thinks of allowing vinyl fencing in general. Because I just don't know. I just don't have any experience with it. I don't have it in any of my properties. But Mountain View is entirely the vinyl fencing. And they started building those in 2004 through 2008. So it's been over there for some of it. It's been over there for 20 years and it seems to be, doesn't seem to be.
Holding up,
Still looks good.
it does.
I have heard comments from other people in the valley where it's commonly used at some fairly high-end places in the valley. And it just has a more updated look. That's just my observation of it, but I have no idea. I mean, the one I see on Oakmont that's on a corner property, I think it looks hideous. It's leaning, it's wavy. But how much of that is an installation problem? It wasn't done professionally. If it's done right and it's high-end material, is that something that we could accept here? Because that would solve a problem too about, is this an economic hardship? Or is this a disability? Is this a special accommodation? Or is this a variance for economic reasons? Those are things that really concern me. But if we just allow vinyl as an option for our members, I sometimes think the vinyl looks better than cheap ornamental iron.
But this is something that we will be discussing, and further, because
In
we
open
haven't
session.
come to our decision about how we're going to handle this right now. And so this is tabled for further, discussions. And once again, as soon as we have made our decision, and then we will bring it to a vote, we would like to, please fill out some comment cards, send in your letters, like anything that you would like to say about the vinyl fencing question of having it.
Can I just give a follow-up to Steve's comments? I don't think anybody here is gonna take down the block wall fence and put vinyl on. Since the majority of the places are block wall, it seems like a minimal concession, and I think aesthetically, they look fine, but I understand the challenges of making those.
And I also wondered in this one particular case with the veteran, if you could do something like allow vinyl in the interior part between him and his neighbor. And then the 19 feet that is on the exterior that we see from the street, make that a block wall. And maybe, if we could arrange a community GoFundMe, nothing official from the club, but from you and I as neighbors, help him upgrade the exterior showing part. Maybe we can find some middle ground there.
I think to make a comment on what you said, block walls probably won't be removed for that, but what you have to keep in mind is we still have a lot of lots and some are still on the golf course. And so if someone bought a lot on the golf course and then decided, and our fences are supposed to be 5 feet high on the golf course, decided to put a vinyl fence along, but and everybody else has block. I think you have to keep that, especially on the golf course where you see it from the golf course. Keep
But
in
are there
mind
any
that-
lots that are more than one? Because if it's just one lot, they've got walls already going down the side from.
No, they don't.
They don't?
But also keep in mind, variances become kind of a problem because once you let one person do it, how do you tell? And people have had to remove vinyl fencing before because they put it up without approval. There's just a lot of things that you have to look at those. We have those CCNRs that do protect the club. You can't say I'm discriminating against you because I won't let you do it because it is in the CCNRs. But once you start doing a lot of variances, which we have, there's where the rub comes. So,
Which is one of the reasons why we're gonna be discussing this.
right, that's why you have to keep the whole
Yeah.
picture in
And
mind.
that's why we're tabling this,
Yeah,
so that we can make those kinds of decisions before we make give all of the information that we can have in front of us so that we know exactly how to go about.
I gave a little bit of a hint, when I talked about reasonable accommodation, that they were looking at legally whether we could do it not through the variance process, but through the disability process with accommodation. The other issue, one of the things about process, when I'm talking about, hey, is final our future, is there a need for this to change? That's in the CCNRs. So that would require, it doesn't have to be a full restatement. You can amend your restated CCNRs, but it does have to go to a full vote of the membership, which is, a costly thing and a time consuming thing to go through a membership and get the proper quorum for that passage.
Doesn't the CCNR say something about block walls?
It says block walls are ornamental iron, and it explicitly, under materials, it explicitly prohibits plastic, fiberglass, vinyl.
There's the answer there. You got CCNRs. Leave it alone, yeah. Well, that's the whole idea.
Next, okay,
In the meeting.
okay, if there is no other new business, then, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion to adjourn. Is there a
I'll
second?
second.
You're gonna get.
All those in
Aye.
favor?
Aye.
Number, we gotta draw a number.
Draw a number.
Siri.
Okay. It's a fine one. Don't grant services and expect them to be- Don't- no, we don't give it to them. All those things.
Thank you, Betty.
You're welcome. Why have CCNR?
This part of the meeting is over. They're having a executive session in a few minutes. But
Look at how many members we have here.
board meeting.
Come on.
I live on. Yeah, I know your face. I just didn't-
What's the number?
Thanks a lot.
Did we say? Before
I
everybody
just got the
leaves.
thing. The number is 15. Judy Grant.
We can.
How about me?
Are we having executive?
Thank you. Because we're gonna be-
Okay.
Okay, so. Dennis, can you? Dennis, can you hear us?
Yeah, Pete, yeah.
There's no executive meeting, so we're done.
Coffee t-shirt and bags of pens.
Thank you, Dennis.
I think he's done. And the country club, come on, I mean. I know, but